what happens if if the court in Delaware says, Elon Musk, you must buy Twitter now. You must do it. And if Elon Musk then does it, what does Twitter now have? Who does it have running it? How does that affect shareholder value? Like, who wants to force a reluctant owner into running a several billion-dollar company?
Yeah, I think it's as we allude to in the piece, I think it's irresponsible of Twitter's board. Twitter's board has fiduciary duties to Twitter as an entity. That means they have to put the interests of Twitter as an entity above anything else. And forcing someone who doesn't want to run the company or own the company to buy the company seems antithetical to their obligation to do the best thing for Twitter. You want someone to buy, if you're selling your house, you want someone to buy your house that's going to be taking care of it, not someone that's going to want to, would never cut the grass and, let it fall apart or whatever. And that's the obligation the board of directors has. And so I think, forcing a reluctant owner is a really bad idea. We point out, we use the analogy in the piece that if you contract with someone to paint your house and they back out and say, I got a better deal. I promised to charge you $500. Someone else down the street is going to pay me $1,000. You don't want to go to court and compel that house painter to paint your house because they'll do a bad job. Yeah. They'll shirk and they'll be lazy and maybe in ways that it's very hard for you to detect. And for courts, this raises another problem, which is imagine that the court does order the person to paint your house or must to buy Twitter. And then he kind of does a bad job. He doesn't show up on time. He's not using a really high quality paint, or in this case, Musk sort of slow walks the funding with the banks and, delays the acquisition, keeping Twitter in legal limbo. Then Twitter's going to run back into court and say, look, he's not doing the best job he could closing the deal or running the company, whatever it is. And that would be sort of enmeshing the court in a continuing obligation to make sure that the order to specifically perform to do the job, that they're actually doing it right. Because to think that the court's just going to snap its fingers and say, you do it, and then Musk will say, oh, sure, I'll do it the best I possibly can, I think is naive in the extreme.
And people need to keep the real world in mind here. I mean, they sued Elon in Delaware, I presume because Twitter's a Delaware-based, incorporated in Delaware, like virtually every corporation. But that's a good thing for Elon too, because this court deals with basically nothing but business disputes and understands the realities of his own power, whoever's going to decide it, and of how businesses work.
So yes and no. Can I agree with you about everything in the premise you said, and then sort of push back a little bit in one sense? The Delaware Chancery Court judges are experts, and they will understand what I just described and the limits of specific performance and those things. They do, however, have a kind of, we're in charge of business disputes. We're worried that if we let Musk back out of this, the kind of ramifications that have for other deals. And they have, because of their expertise, a little bit of an arrogance and a willingness to sort of hold people to deals in ways that don't reflect the economic efficiencies or maybe what the right market conditions would be.
Okay, so I think that's a point in my favor. That's a point in my favor because I think the arrogance will make them not want to get in a position where they're ordering Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, to do something he's not going to do.
Yeah, we say in the piece, there's a little bit of a game of chicken that could go on. I mean, first of all, the fundamental problem here is something, again, that we teach and you learned in law school, which is the layperson sees Musk agreed to buy Twitter. Well, that's not what happened. The contract or the merger agreement was structured in a particular way. Musk created some separate entities, X Holdings 1 and X Holdings 2. They agreed to be funded. Twitter agreed to cancel the shares of its shareholders and give them certificates, and they could show up at these separate entities and exchange those certificates for cash. That particular structure was not Musk himself promising to pay each Twitter shareholder $54.20. And that structural difference really matters. The lawyers could have struck this deal in a way that really did bind Musk, that made him accountable for the promise that he made to the shareholders effectively, and could have been liable for the difference between the $33 stock price today and the $54. But the lawyers did not structure it that way. And they're kind of stuck with the structure that they have, which what it does is forces Twitter in the first instance to sue these shell companies, X Holdings 1 and X Holdings 2, to force them to do something. And as we point out, there's no them really. You can't put X Holdings 1 in jail. The agreement does require Musk to do his best efforts to get those entities to fulfill their obligations, but it's a kind of second order thing. And I cannot see the Delaware courts holding Musk in contempt.
Gathering around the dinner table has been the catalyst for change since the beginning of time. Good things happen at the dinner table. Ronald Reagan once said, all great change in America starts at the dinner table. If we can return to eating meals together as a family, then we can create the conversation and the change we want to see. Maybe it feels overwhelming to get everybody together and then still also make a great meal, but Good Ranchers has got you. They make it easy. Pull out a Good Ranchers package of beef, chicken, seafood, season it with salt and pepper, and then cook it up however you like. It tastes great. Or if you want it pre-marinated, they've got that too. Every box you get is superior quality, flavor, and value. Good Ranchers is a company that supports American agriculture and business. You're already buying meat. Why not support an American company like Good Ranchers? Use my code Megyn to get $30 off your order plus free shipping. Make gatherings at the table easy and fun with Good Ranchers. Go to goodranchers.com/MEGYN to bring your family and friends to the table and eat some seriously delicious food. goodranchers.com/Megyn. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.